everybody, it's Adam and Sam back with Zoom news. Don't worry, it's just a one-off. We're starting things early. It's 5:30 in the morning right now. Sam's got to get a train. He's going to see Mike Oldfield today, aren't you?
Yeah,
excited?
It's I like weird music, so this should be a pretty interesting spectacle. Yeah, the only thing that's concerning me a bit is London. It just changes every time I go back, and I'm a bit
Scary.
like, ooh.
Scary times.
I'm a simple northern boy, Adam.
very much so. So we would normally do a song at this point. Obviously, it's very difficult to do that via Zoom. So Sam is going to sing the entirety of Tubular Bells for you right now. Take it away, Sam.
I've just gone completely blank. How does it go again?
Bollocks are right. Headlines. Here we go. Christian Cage has defeated Kenny Omega and won the Impact World title. King of the Ring is reportedly returning, and we've got all the details. And Big E's Money in the Bank briefcase was stolen on SmackDown. Jesus Christ, we'll tell you everything you need to know. So what a bloody night of wrestling it was last night. Great episode of SmackDown, and of course we saw the debut episode of AEW Rampage. The first match on that card, Kenny Omega defending the Impact World Championship against Christian Cage, and he only bloody did it. Go on, Jay. After a really great match, there was a bit of shenanigans, right? Don Callis with the referee distraction, which literally lasted. This is the only thing that took away from the match for me. It lasted about 45 minutes. He was up on that apron, all sorts of nonsense going down,
just flailing the arms, pointing at random things.
I don't know if there was a miscommunication or not, but we're not going to talk about that too much because it was a great match, and we have a new Impact World Champion, Christian Cage. He is a 5-time world champion all around the world, not just in Impact. So Impact, he held the primary belt in the mid-2000s. Obviously, he's a former world heavyweight champion, and he twice held the NWA World's title as well. So Omega, this is very interesting, because he has dropped the Impact World title first. I feel like the original plan maybe was to have Adam Page defeat Omega and the focus really be on the AEW World title, and then he drops all of the other ones. But obviously plans have changed there, so it looks like he's maybe doing it a bit sooner rather than later, and he's got that match with Andrade coming up as well for the AAA World title, and I've got a feeling that Andrade might be victorious there as well.
Quite possibly. It's going to be, I mean, the thing is, if he loses all the other belts, then the AEW one is nearest and dearest, and he doesn't want to lose that, and so it ramps that kind of pressure up on him.
Point.
But at the same time, I'm just really happy that it's such a get for Impact, this, because Christian has obviously a long history with Impact and was more beloved and I guess taken in more by that company than he was reportedly. You know, there's all those stories that Vince wanted to cover his face with a blue dot and never kind of saw him as never kind of saw him as the top guy. Whereas when he went to Impact, he was kind of embraced and he pulled out some of the best work of his career. So fingers crossed, it's going to result in more of that moving forward.
Totally. They invested him in a way that WWE didn't at that point. And then, obviously, Christian came back and with a really underwhelming return. It's Christian! And it took him a little while to get that World Heavyweight title. But that wasn't the only title that changed hands last night. We've also got a new Intercontinental Champion on our hands. Shinsuke Nakamura defeating Apollo Crews last night. Really decent match again. Both Rick and Commander Aziz being ejected from ringside during the course of the match. This is kicking off Nakamura's second reign as IC champion. Now, if you remember back to the last time he held it for a hell of a long time, but he was rarely on TV. They did so little with it, and then he dropped it to Braun. Yeah,
it was so weird. Like, he'd be there in like promos, or he'd just be in a random backstage segment, and it's like you got one of the best wrestlers. TV at all. Yeah, or just not at all. It's like you got one of the best wrestlers in the world. It's like, surely maybe there was something more going on. Maybe it was like he wasn't able to wrestle for a bit or something, but it did feel odd that he just wasn't really hyped much and utilised much during that run.
I think he's done great stuff as a mid-card champion. You think back to the US title stuff, the Nakamura stuff, and I think he was class. I mean, it's Shinsuke Nakamura. What can you say about him? This really concerns me as far as Apollo Crews goes. I don't think that this new gimmick, or I guess it's his first gimmick because he didn't really have one before. I don't think the gimmick has worked in the way that they thought it would, and I've got a feeling that he's not going to be sticking around around on TV that much. Maybe disappears for a bit again. He'll probably get a rematch or something at SummerSlam maybe.
It's just such a shame because I remember how exciting it was, those initial moments of the turn before the gimmick was solidified when, he dropped the stairs on Big E. You had all this like big build and it's like Apollo's finally snapped, and then there was a bit of a brawl backstage one week, I think, where like Big E was going all around backstage in a golf cart looking for him, and then they had this huge kind of like Attitude Era style smashing each other about backstage. And I remember being properly invested in that because it was like, when was the last time I really, really was this behind Apollo Crews? But slowly, I don't know if it's just the fact they ran it into the ground so much. We've just seen it every single week. It just went on and went on and went. And like, how far can you push it when you're a new character as well? Like, I think that pushing it out there every week with little development, it's just the kiss of death.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just don't think, for me personally speaking, I don't think the new gimmick for Apollo ever really clicked. And it's a shame because he needed a gimmick for so very long, and this one just hasn't worked out for him. So long may Nakamura reign, as far as I'm concerned. But good luck to Apollo. I think he's going to need it at this point, Speaking of luck, a man who is tremendously unlucky right now is Baron Corbin. This
is brilliant.
He was a bag out of order last night. He had a little scrap with Kevin Owens, which Owens of course won. Yeah,
it started with him coming out and kind of asking the crowd for money. Though he's like, "Come on, just give me $1,000 each. Just $1,000. Come on, give me $1,000." Owens then ran him down, kind of popped out and was like, "Will you stop embarrassing yourself and the company? Stop begging them for money." And Corbin was like, "Okay, well, if we have a match," or I think, whichever one of them suggested it, it was like, "We'll have the match, but if I win, Owens, then you have to shut up and stop doing this." And Corbin's like, "But if I win, you give me $1,000. Of course, as you said, Owens won.
Obviously. Cut to backstage. A very distraught Baron Corbin pegging it away. He sees Big E there, sat down at a table, briefcase on there, Money in the Bank briefcase. He's grabbed it. He's pegged it. He's gone. It's been stolen.
Big E gave chase to him, but then they just continued it. So they've uploaded a video with Corbin leaving the arena with the briefcase, being like, "This is it. This is my ticket back to the top. I'm going to get the title and I'm going to be rich." And I'm completely loving this new Corbin.
You know what? So am I. I think he just got confused. He saw the word money on the briefcase and thought it was packed with.
Popped it open and there's just a bit of paper in it. What am I going to do with this?
Well, I don't know. Contracts in wrestling are a very funny thing, aren't they? So maybe Baron Corbin will cash in. You know what? I think this is a little feud to tide Big E over until he's inevitably drafted to Raw, and I think he's going to be the man to beat Bobby Lashley. I think that's probably the plan. So I don't think Big E's going to be cashing in on Roman. I think he'll probably head over to Raw, and this is just a little bit of filler.
But it could go into a little bit of a further feud if Corbin kind of holds onto it for a bit and then decides to sell it to the highest bidder, because all he really cares about is money. So he could sell the briefcase to somebody else, and then that could go from there. So it could be like a setup to whatever comes next, maybe.
Hopefully, they don't drag it out. They've got a habit of doing that with Corbin feuds. Just lay off. Just give us a couple of months. Wait until the draft. That's fine. Right, we've previously talked about these reports, but we've got a few new details on King of the Ring. So this comes from Andrew Zarian of the Mat Men podcast. In addition to plans for a Queen of the Ring tournament later this year, they're also going to be doing King of the Ring. So Zarian states that the tournament returning in October. The finals are going to be taking place in Saudi Arabia, which is reportedly scheduled for Thursday, October 21st. And the Queen of the Ring finals also tentatively set for that date, which is, I think, a bit of a shame, to be honest. I like King of the Ring having its own pay-per-view. I always really enjoyed it as a kid, but it's been a long time since we've had that, right?
Yeah, and it's not kind of... As a grumpy old man as this sounds, it doesn't look as cool as it used to. That big purple shield with the yellow K, it just looks so... just childish. But then again, the whole thing itself's quite childish with the crown and cape, but the idea of having the finals in Saudi Arabia is always going to be controversial anyway, given the company's relationship with Saudi Arabia as a whole being brought into question quite a lot after the deal was announced, and there's still quite a lot of legs on that, and we were all questioning whether that was even going to move forward following the pandemic.
Another 7 or 8 years.
Yeah. So the question now is, I guess, do they take the year off for the pandemic and add it to the end?
Well, roll on Thursday, October 21st, apparently.
Yeah.
We'll see. Sticking with international news, WWE looking for more international talent. They posted a new job listing on their website, which you can apply for right now. And the title is Manager of Talent ID Operations. The job summary states that they're adding to its talent ID team, and they're looking for an experienced individual to help find and identify elite athletes around the world that have a passion and desire to become WWE superstars. So just because they're ditching all their wrestlers doesn't mean they're not looking for more.
Well, this is kind of what I was thinking. Was, I mean, they of course must have scouts all the time, because
William Regal's got lazy. He doesn't fancy traveling anymore, right?
But
that's what it is.
It's you kind of got to look at things like NXT UK though, which kind of acted as its own scouting system. And if they're starting to send scouts back out into the international field, have they always been there doing this with like NXT UK, or is this coming in kind of on the back of NXT UK? Are we looking in specific markets? Is there certain stuff? Are we looking just for the US? Is it, it could be anything.
Yeah, it's interesting because I mean the sort of the global expansion thing that they wanted to do,
it's all kind
possibly isn't happening anymore.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if we don't see another local NXT like an NXT UK. I mean, time will tell on everything, but plans have changed so much in recent weeks and months that who knows? Anyway, that's it from us. Sam, a bit of Mike Oldfield. What else did he do? Moonlight Shadow, carried away on the
Moonlight Shadow.
Yeah, lovely stuff. There you go. We'll be back in a couple of hours. Have a good weekend. See you in a bit.